Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So today is going to be a very, very special podcast episode. Today we are going to be talking with Sarah Shaffer about embracing the chaos and making meaningful changes to live life authentically. And I am super excited because Sarah and I connected 3 weeks ago through the mastermind event, which I'm really, really super excited. Small Business Mastermind. So right now we are live on YouTube. So if you are watching this live on YouTube right now, please hashtag live and please let us know where you are tuning in from. And my podcast is all about helping women amplify their voices and sharing their real life stories of how they've come out of domestic violence, trauma, and helping them stepping into their purpose so they can live their happiest lives ever. So don't forget, please, to like and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the live streams. And please go ahead. And if you are watching this live right now on my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Sarah. So Sarah Shaffer is a fiercely real and unapologetic social worker, advocate, and survivor with over 25 years of experience. Holding a master's degree in social work from the University of Pennsylvania, she worked in diverse fields, including international marketing on Wall Street, clinical operations for United Healthcare, and as the founder of the Mason Shaffer Foundation, the first public free cord blood donation program in the Philadelphia area. So as a Gen X woman, she partners with women who feel stuck in the chaos of life, helping them regain clarity and peace through raw, unfiltered conversations. Drawing from her personal journey of survival, including childhood trauma, 9/11 experiences, and raising a chronically ill child, she offers no-nonsense, evidence-based strategies to navigate anxiety, set boundaries, and embrace intentional living. Her grassroots initiative, Be a Butterfly, offers real, unedited, unapologetic life strategy coaching aimed at empowering women to embrace their own metamorphosis. Sober since May 1st of 2021, she is committed to helping others take responsibility for their choices, embrace the chaos, and make meaningful changes to live life authentically. So without further ado.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Angeline. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you? How are you doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a privilege, and I'm thrilled to have this conversation with you.
I am so thrilled to have this conversation with you too, Sarah. And we have someone joining in right now. It is Dwania Barnes.
Dwania. Yep. Hi, Dwania. Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. And this is a real raw conversation that we're going to have. So first of all, I'd like to ask you, what is the time right now where you are?
Right now, I am in a time of metamorphosis. I have left the 9 to 5, the hospital full time, and launching this program to really allow women to have a place to be real and authentic. I think that we mask everything. And so I'm at a place where I'm free and I'm at peace. I have owned everything in my life. So I have no looking behind my shoulders, no nothing. I feel very confident where I am. Nervous and scared because it's new and unknown. But I feel good and I feel very peaceful right now.
That's good. No, I can see that. And where were you before you launched your company?
So I've been a hospital social worker since 1996 and, working in every field from trauma, ER, med surg, and really working with people, trying to help them accept some of the hardest things in their lives, trying to figure out a solution in a very short period of time. Where do they go now? You know, what does life look like right now? So I've been doing this kind of framework for a long time. And through all of this, I had been an absolute hot mess, rolling dumpster fire. I mean, everything, we are products of our childhood. That is indisputable. And every coping skill and survival skill that we developed, we needed at the times that we needed them. And many led to very poor choices that we made, and we had to deal with the repercussions of those. But when I got to the point of, this is just not it, this is not where I want to be. And it took 2 rehabs. You know, I had to do it twice because only the cool kids go twice. And I had to absolutely look at myself in the mirror, dead in the eye, and own my role in my chaos. Because life keeps happening. Things happen to us, but our choices are what are our responsibility. And when we take accountability and we say, you know what, I'm just going to stand right here and I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to stop denying. I'm going to stop projecting. I'm going to stop pointing fingers. The only finger that points is right here. And when you do that, it is unbelievable, because the weight of pretending to be what you are not is lifted. We are then, once I own everything, come on, world, here I am.
There you go.
I know it. I know it. I know I was a dumpster fire.
Wow.
I know it was rolling faster than I could keep up with it. And many times I tried to jump in it.
Right. Jumping into your own fire, but you took ownership. You surrendered.
It was in my own way. I was angry and mortified at things that I had no control of. And then the guilt and shame that comes with the choices that I made that I was in control of. You know, and it follows us. Those negative thoughts, all of that stuff that we know we did. Ooh, they keep coming. They keep coming. And like rapid fire. And then we get so buggered up in our head that we cannot think clearly. So when we verbal vomit and just get it out, we know it happened. We know we're ashamed of it. We know we're mortified that we did these things or acted a certain way or made certain choices. We know that. But when I put it out there on the table, I can look at it. I can connect the dots. You know, in addressing how we were raised and what kind of things we developed in those times, we can connect the dots, and that can allow release too. Like, oh, I know why I chased men that never wanted me. I know why I drank like a fish, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I know why I did it. And that helps to understand it and then move it aside.
Right. Okay.
So this drinking, my coping skill, that worked. Well, I thought it worked.
You thought it worked, but it didn't work.
I thought it worked. And, that was my security. That was my best friend. That was my always there, always to quote unquote, take away the pain, but then perpetuated 75 other painful things. It just, again, the dumpster fire, you throw alcohol on it and whoo, you're out of control. And, looking at my children, looking at what my son has survived, looking what his brother has survived, and living in the family with, a child who had a stem cell transplant and now is type 1 diabetic. It's rough on the other child. We forget, we get so much focus on the ill need. And it's impossible not to, unfortunately, push aside. And so you have to acknowledge that, and so owning that I drove drunk with my children, owning that I handed my then 14-year-old after swimming a mile what I thought was a bottle of water, and it was a bottle of vodka. And for him to turn to me and say, "It's effing vodka, you effing drunk." That's some hard stuff to look at yourself in the eye with.
Exactly. Oh, sure it is.
That is some tough stuff to say, you know what? But here's where the value comes, is that it gave him validation. When we talk about it, when I let him say, you can tell me whatever it is that I did, because 95% of it, I probably don't remember, and
Okay.
so tell me what I did, tell me. And he gets his time. He gets to verbally vomit it out. So then it doesn't sit with him. And me as the parent, I have to own that. I have to allow him what I didn't get. The breaking the silence, the breaking the cycle. I didn't get my day in the ring with my parents. That was part of the swirling, part of that nonsense that goes around and never seems to never end, because we never got to address it. We never got to say our piece. We never got to, like I said, have our day in the ring.
Exactly.
So I give that to my children. That ownership and accountability goes so much further than my own piece, because it lets them move on.
Exactly. And they're not carrying that burden with them, because they carried a huge burden.
In all different directions.
Yeah.
In all different directions. And to sit here and say, oh, we're all messed up because of our childhood, and not to acknowledge the impact that we have on our own children. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
That's where this change is going to come. That's where the metamorphosis absolutely turns into that butterfly. When I can see the change in my relationships, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But it's hard. It was hard to look at myself in the mirror and own that stuff.
Exactly. That takes courage.
And you stop having those morning wake-ups where your stomach is in your feet and you have no idea what this day is going to bring, because you cannot think clearly. And, there was a point where I was wishing to kill about 19 people, and half of them were dead. So, these things don't serve us anymore.
Right. Exactly.
So it's time to, the old phrase, unpack your backpack, all of that, whatever it is, get it out. Don't care how you do it.
Okay.
Get it.
Unpack that baggage, because so many people carry that still today.
If you can imagine how many people respond when you open up and you say, yeah, I was abused by my father. And someone will, and whether it's an uncle or a stepbrother or this or that, there is a large population of women that have been harmed by somebody. And, you kind of look at the Me Too movement, right? It went away. Everybody got compounded because, they're coming out of the woodworks. They came out of the woodworks because they were allowed to finally.
Right.
But what's happened now is it was criticized and beat down yet again. We don't hear anything now. We got all sorts of stuff coming out. And everybody's quiet again. Everybody's quiet again. And that scares me. That scares me a lot. Women need to be talking a lot.
Oh, yes. Women need to be talking even more.
Correct.
Exactly. And what is holding them back? What do you feel is holding them back?
Fear. 100% fear. And, I can even say coming new into this arena and being new to social media. And, I'm 51 years old. I hate social media. I have no idea what I'm doing on it. And in posting the first post, it was terrifying. And I'm not a person that cares what other people think.
That's
Clearly.
good.
But going on to that Instagram arena was very different.
How so?
Because it opened up, I've learned to set my boundaries, right? But now I'm putting myself out there saying, oh, well, there's no boundaries. I can't expect boundaries. I cannot expect respect and on a social media outlet. So I had to accept that.
Right.
I had to accept, one, I do believe that in the way that I coach, you're either all in or you're like, no, you're not for me.
Okay.
Because it is upfront. And if someone is talking about returning to bad relationships, returning to someone who spits on them, returning to someone who, screams at them or, physically harms them, sexually harms them. And I will call you out on that. It's a choice. And
sure is.
Yes, there are situations absolutely where that trauma bond and that fear and that physical threat is very difficult to manage. But we're afraid that we're going to be looked down as a failure. We're afraid that we will fail. We're afraid that it won't work out. We were sold this storybook. We all were. We're going to go to college. We're going to get married.
There you go. There you go. Here we go. Conditioned. We were conditioned.
We were brainwashed.
I like that. I agree with you.
So think about it. And I think it's just so hard to comprehend. It's so terrifying to comprehend. But the way that people follow is terrifying. And it's why we have to step back. Women who have that need to empower, like yourself, you and myself, is because historically we can't look at history and be like, no, women have not been owned since the beginning of time.
Right.
We've been owned since the beginning of time. You think about a marriage. A marriage is a sale from one man to another. And I've been married for 21 years. And I do love my husband, but I also have set very clear boundaries.
Okay.
And have, because of my survival skills, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm very clear on what I will and will not take. And clear and in charge of my knowledge of our finances. I have not handed anything over to him.
Okay.
And it's a necessary skill to have, and it's one that we were taught that we should not expect these things. It is expected that you do for the other person, a partner, whatever it is. And I'm trying to think how to say this. Yes, conditioned that we were the ones that were the problem. Whether it's with parental abuse, spousal abuse, where women have been taught is you're the core of it. And suddenly, somewhere, our eyes get open. And what I task women to do is don't unsee stuff. Once your eyes are open and you start to realize what's going on, take a step back. Look at your situation.
There you go.
Is this what you want it to be? Is this where you want to be? Or are you part of us Gen Xers who say we woke up and we're like, what the heck happened? How on earth did I get in this place? I'm stuck. I don't like who I am. I don't like what I'm doing, but yet I don't know where to turn. And my thought is we really have to turn inside.
Exactly. Turn inward.
It is this little girl in there that all of us have. And she's the one that's there that's saying, hey, you didn't listen before. Could we listen now? Could we have a conversation about where we're at? Because my gut, that whole gut reaction is real.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when our bellies are swirling and she's in there saying, time to move. And we don't listen. And we've shut her down our entire lives. And finally, we're like, wait a minute, I hear something. Maybe I should listen to it. Our instincts have always been correct. Our spidey sense is never wrong. And if we trust that and have faith in ourselves, I'll take a huge shift. I struggle with organized religion. I grew up with an Orthodox Jewish father, an agnostic Episcopalian mother.
Oh, wow.
My husband's Lutheran, and we sent the kids to Catholic school. Like, I got all bases covered.
No, I hear what you're saying. I can relate to what you're talking about because I was brought up Greek Orthodox.
Yep. And it's a different bag,
Yeah.
It's definitely a different arena. But having faith and religion are two different things.
Right.
Faith is what we have. It's mine. Nobody can tell me what it is, and nobody can take it from me. And I'm a universe gal. I am a universe. It's a she. I know that I am not the be all and end all of everything, but I don't know what the heck else is out there. So, all right, we'll just go with universe. I know I can trust her. I know that she's going to throw me curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the skills that I've learned and that I teach is the how to tuck and roll, because stuff just keeps coming at us.
Exactly.
And stand strong. Stand strong, go through the storm. One of the things that I like to tell people is, when you're stuck, you see the tornado ahead.
Exactly.
And you've got the little pellet hails coming at you.
Exactly.
And they're constant and they're stinging, and if you walk forward, you're going to have to go through the big hailstorm. You're going to get hit with some big ones and they're going to bruise. And then you go through the tornado. But guess what's on the other side is a clearing. And the thing is that when we're stuck, that storm is coming towards us no matter what. It's going to hit us.
Oh, sure. It's going to hit us.
So it's whether or not we just barrel through it, and I think that's where life coaching has come into, is where we don't need eons and eons of therapy ad nauseum. I think we need to get right to the nitty gritty. Anything that I discuss with my clients, it's not stuff that they don't already know. I'm not telling them new information. You know that you should not go back to him, but let's talk about why you are, and who are you making the choices for?
Exactly. Exactly.
You can relate that even to end of life, patients and families will stand and say, do everything. Okay. Who are you making that choice for?
There you go.
And those are hard things to look at yourself at. It's, again, looking at yourself in the eye. Am I asking them to put tubes and all of these things and keep them alive at all costs to everybody? Who am I doing that for? I struggle to understand where we have this concept that we have the right to live at all costs to everybody. I'm not sure where that came from. Nature's nature. And when this is a vehicle, that's it. And yes, man can keep it going nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
But should we?
That's the question.
Right.
That's the question.
So really understanding when we're making choices, who are we making them for, is a prime question.
I agree. I agree with you. Absolutely. See, when we go through the storms of life, it takes us to a new path. And I totally agree with what you're saying. You know, when that storm comes, it's going to come at you no matter where you are. If you're feeling stuck, it's still going to come.
Right.
It's going to come right at you because the enemy wants to shut us down. The storms of life put us on a clearer path. And many women, I feel, don't understand that. They choose to stay in victimhood.
I definitely agree. I agree with that. I think that's a societal, yes, women definitely, but I think both men and women, become very stuck in the victim. Nobody's doing for me. No, this isn't happening for me. I don't get this. I don't get up. Shut up and get up. Like, do something for yourself.
Exactly.
If you don't like it, you are the only one who's going to get you out of it. Because things can be handed to you on a silver platter, but what you do with them is up to you.
I agree with you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I see it in medicine all the time. We give this perception that physicians are all knowing. This vehicle came from 2 cells. 2 cells. That's it. That's it. And to think that we have an absolute understanding as to how this all works is ludicrous. My youngest was diagnosed with a disease called malignant infantile osteopetrosis. It's a 1 in 500,000 recessive genetic disease. He didn't have the cells, the osteoclast to chew away the bones. He only had the blast to build his bones. So the bones became solid, no room for marrow. And so his cells started reproducing in the liver and the spleen. And his skull became so thick that he's completely blind in his left eye and partially blind in his right. He's also missing 14 teeth because it's a bone disorder, even though it's a blood disorder that affects the bones. So, his spleen was big. We got express admitted down to Nemours, AI DuPont, in Wilmington, Delaware. And everybody thought it was leukemia. His white cell count was 44,000. So they came in, that's the diagnosis they gave us. And the next morning they said that the test that they did to see what type of cancer it was should have screamed cancer, and it didn't. So now they had to think outside the box.
Right.
So unbeknownst to us, there were war rooms going on trying to figure out. And 11 days earlier, and in my world, 1s and 11s are huge. It just is. So, 11 days earlier, an 8-month-old girl had passed from this exact disease post-transplant. For us, she is our angel because she led to his diagnosis so quickly.
Right.
So they came in and they say he's got malignant infantile osteopetrosis. Untreated, he'll die by the age of 2, and the only treatment is a stem cell or a bone marrow transplant. And that very well could kill him. What would you like to do? My husband and I were sitting there like, how as a parent do you get to the point where you're like, I wish my kid had leukemia because I know what that word means. I don't know what the hell just came out of your mouth. So obviously we went with option B. And even we did not save either boy's cords. We were young, it's expensive. We didn't really know what it did. So even if we had, we wouldn't have been able to use Mason's cord because you would have put the bad gene right back in. And his brother wasn't a match, and they weren't doing parent half matches at the time.
Okay.
So he had donated umbilical cord stem cells. And they give you 10 days of chemo. They wipe you down to nothing. They put this stuff in. It smells like seafood salad. And you hope that it works. You put someone else's new cells in there. And I said to my husband, I don't remember anybody telling us that we could donate.
Yeah.
It was just throw it in the trash or private banking. And so in psychotic mother mode of, I need to have a reason why this happened. You know, Riley, my oldest, came out of me spinning cartwheels, and now I've got this. And so I did my research. There wasn't a single hospital in the Philadelphia area that did free cord blood donation for mom. And I had started the foundation, the Mason Shaffer Foundation, to support malignant infantile osteopetrosis because there wasn't anything out there. They lumped us in with leukemia and lymphoma because they were like, well, we don't know where else to put you.
Right.
And so I developed that as a support network. We had a family from Ecuador that came and stayed with us. He was transplanted with the same disease exactly 1 year after, in the same room by the same doctor. And they're both doing great. So, you go through that. It was 50 days in the hospital. You don't even know what's going on. And I focused a lot on the insurance because we all know how fun that was.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They wanted to transfer him to another hospital because at the time we had 100% coverage for in-network, and we were in a saturated area, and the hospital was in network. All the physicians were in network. The four walls of the blood and bone marrow transplant unit was not. So they wanted us to move. And I pretty much told them they could go pound sand. And I said, if you move us, you think we're going to walk in with a 1 in 500,000 recessive genetic disease kid, and you're just going to take that? No, You're going to retest him. You're going to spend another $100,000. You're going to poke and prod him. No, we're not doing it. So I fought all the way through the 3 levels of appeal, which gave me great joy because I needed something to put my energy into. And at the 3rd level, they said, we're upholding it. We're not going to cover it. And I said, that's very nice. Please let me know the one PR person that you want me to get in contact with, because I'll go to Governor Rendell's office. I'll go to the Obama Office for Healthcare Reform, and I'll go to every news station that will listen to me sneeze. 30 minutes later, they called and they said they would cover him at 100%. So, you go through all of that, and the medicine is amazing. But I will tell you that through the transplant, when we talk about like that ownership of who you're making the choice for, there was opportunity left, right, and central for this kid to die, for this to go wrong, for this to really blow up, even worse than what it was. And I had to constantly put myself in that position of who would I make these decisions for if this happens, and keeping myself somewhat in check, because even with his orthodontic work, he's missing 14 teeth. At this point at 15, he's fed up. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's so pissed, but there are things that need to happen, and I need to understand who I'm making that choice for. He doesn't want it right now, but I know, in his 20s, he's going to be happy when he has a mouth that functions properly, and it's like I said, the understanding of 2 cells. Like, this is just, he is a miracle, and I don't understand how it happened, and I never will.
Okay.
But fast forward 15 years later, where this kid came home on 17 medications, he was taking a multivitamin. That was it. And we ended up with type 1 diabetes. He had lost 50 pounds in 8 months. Yep.
That's a lot of weight to lose. Oh my God.
It is a lot of weight for a 15-year-old. But you know what? To give parents grace, even in the medical field, even knowing what I know, there were ways to explain it. Oh, he's 15. He's growing more than we thought. There's hormones. There's, adolescence, all of this stuff. He had a little girl drama, whatever. But it's not that we don't notice things. It's that there seemed to be, you don't want to go, you're so fearful to go down that path.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
when we realized that it was 50 pounds, and my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, all right, giddy up, here we go. And we went, his blood sugars were 460 and his ketones were 6. So we got a lovely express admission again at my friends at Nemours, to the ICU.
Oh, wow.
And we knew there were there's two big possibilities with stem cell transplant. Some of the byproducts could be secondary leukemia and diabetes. So when we were driving down with the weight loss and he was bruising, we were like, this is leukemia. Like, that's what we were prepared for. So we were thrilled when it was type 1 diabetes. And that's a messed up place to be.
Oh, it is.
That's a really messed up place to be, you know? But as a family, just kind of like with transplant, you know, I was determined that his room was not going to be a room of death. So we woke up, the blinds went on, the music went on, and, you know, and this was in the old building, you know, box TVs. We didn't have anything fancy back then.
Okay.
And we just kept life in it. And that was our choice. I literally had a conversation with my husband when we were driving down before transplant. I said, whatever this is, it is not good. So pull up your bootstraps and get ready to roll. Like, we don't have another choice.
Okay.
We do not have another choice. And I said to him, I said, no matter what it is, I said, people are going to follow our lead. If we walk with, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world and he's going to die every day. No. All right. We know what it is. We know what we're going to do. It still sucks, but we've got a plan. And here we go. So type 1 diabetes rolled in and we did the exact same thing. The teams had no idea what to do with us because we were like, all right, what do we need to do? And they're like, oh my God, this is a lot. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it blows. It blows monkey chunks. But I don't have a choice. Well, let's rephrase that. I do. I absolutely do have a choice. It's still going to happen. This is still going to be my life. This is still going to be his life. But my choice is to not be miserable in it and find the gratitude in it. You know, I'm grateful my child has type 1 diabetes.
Find gratitude. There you go. There you go. Find gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. And I'm so glad that you touched on that because so many people are addicted to suffering, and they would be like, addicted to suffering. So how does one overcome that?
Again, I think it's that ownership, and it's our part in it. It's releasing it. It's giving us grace. It's giving yourself grace. I get why you do this. I get why you're an idiot. I get it. But okay, is it working for you anymore? No. Okay. Then we're going to find a different path. And it's, you can be there at the crux and you can have one foot on each and just still stand there. You have to make a choice. Even if you have to drag that foot behind you, you have to make a choice.
Exactly.
And not making a choice is a choice.
There you go. I love that you touched on that. Yes.
And that's where we become empowered. When we exercise those choices, we do, even though we feel like we don't. And I get sometimes a little kooky with the way that the world is. I kind of feel like we're in Hunger Games, and they're just like, oh, you're bored. We're going to throw COVID there. Nobody's paying attention. We'll just set Canada on fire.
Yeah,
they're paying attention to that. Let's do Hawaii. Hey, you know what? They look bored. Let's throw some hurricanes on Florida. I mean, it is just everywhere. It's nonsense. And, we have to be grounded. We have to have because it's going to keep coming. And if we sway, we won't break.
There you go.
and we stand still in fear, and we stand still in indifference.
Okay. There you
So
go.
that path is when I'm trying to think, because I reverse this all the time. You make that choice when the pain of staying where you are outweighs the fear.
There you go.
Did I do it right?
Yes. Yes.
I love visualization. I love, because that's how I process. I need to see this mental thing that you're telling me.
Exactly.
And I bugger them up all the time. And at least some point gets across it at one time or another.
Right.
I think having, I was in Manhattan on 9/11. I was on 52nd in between 5th and 6th.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I'll tell you something, Angeline. There was never a place for those of us to express what happened and how it whacked us up. Because we weren't in the towers. If we didn't have an immediate family member that perished.
Exactly.
There was not any real support, if you will, or acknowledgement of those of us that made that pilgrimage down 2nd Avenue, covered in soot, who had to be evacuated and went to a furniture store underneath, thinking that was good, and realizing once the Pentagon hit that we were right next to the UN. I'm early 20s thinking, I'm working at Deutsche Bank. I am living life. And I don't think that's what we were told. You're safe in America. You're safe. You're good. We rule the universe.
That changed, 9/11 changed everything. And I was on East 53rd. I remember exactly.
You were right near me.
Yeah, I was right near you. Can you imagine that? And the whole world changed that day. And I was stranded for 6 hours because I had an appointment and there was a no-show. And then I figured out what happened. There was smoke behind Grand Central Station. I'm like, oh boy.
So, working in that arena, obviously I knew a lot of people with Cantor Fitzgerald and, I have one who I know jumped. That's whacked out.
It is.
And my very good friend was in the 2nd tower, called the desk, said they're not evacuating us. They're telling us, it's an accident, blah, 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 blah. And 3-4 minutes later, the 2nd plane hit right where they were.
Exactly.
That's a mind boggle. All of that. And then, if you remember, they replayed it over and over and over. The media screws us. Left, right, and central. Unfortunately. It is just. So, I freaked out. I lost my mind. I left Wall Street. I ended up working for a Hollywood production company. Was the personal assistant to a very B-list.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Went to the Cannes Film Festival. I mean, I was like, if you're going to come get me, you need to find me. You need to find me. Went to Tahiti. But I was spending money like I was still making it.
See?
Blew through that whole thing. And, you throw that on top of childhood trauma, all the goodies that go with that. I'm the only biological child between my 2 parents. And I have 1 half sister. And then they adopted 3 boys who were over the age of 13, horribly abused. You can come up with any story and it's probably accurate. And then 5 foster kids, and I was the youngest. So it just, and then you break out and you go to New York and you're just like, yes, I am going to win this life. I have conquered all of that. I conquered all of that. Look at me, I'm on top. Oh no, that got taken down. And then, things go on, and I met my husband,
Mm.
and well, I met him in 99.
Okay.
That's a story for another podcast.
That's fine. Stay tuned for part 2, everyone. Okay.
So, and he was the one who brought me back down to earth. I mean, I was doing enough cocaine to kill small countries, I mean, but because I couldn't live it, I couldn't manage.
You couldn't manage your emotions.
Your
emotions.
I couldn't. And all of this that's like in your throat and your stomach, everywhere, just push it down, anything I could find. And I did that for a long time.
Right.
And, and you get a little bit better and I felt a little bit more secure. And then Mason got sick. And then that just, I believe 9/11 was the catalyst to my decline.
Oh.
And then the transplant just took it into absolute high gear.
And what did that look like?
So that looked like it progressively turned into drinking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
If I was awake, there was a drink in my hand. And at work, at home, everywhere. And it was during the time that the kids, so Matt, remember when they're like 10, 11, and everybody's going to the sports and everybody has mommy's sippy cup.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was the queen of that. So society made it look fun and acceptable. So I was able to hide under that radar for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was doing things. I was building a foundation. I was working full time. 2 kids. One's a transplant kid, built a foundation, started the cord blood program and launched that. And that was a $750,000 a year program that I did completely pro bono. Everything, there was no liquid assets or anything that went through. It was all services and, donation and all of that. So I was doing all that while hammered. So then if you sit there and think what I'm capable of.
Oh my gosh.
Be a little bit clearer.
Wow.
Which is why, if we sit there, why did I do this now? Why did I? Because one, I really believe you don't have to. If you're sitting in that bathtub of filth, you're rubbing it all, it's in your hair. And sometimes we love it in there, we love it in that filth bath. It's comfortable. But when you're ready to get out and when you're ready to look, you need someone to say to you, knock it off. Knock it off. What do you want? How do you want to get there? This is how I did it. There's simple steps, honesty, ownership, and action. That's it. This is not brain surgery. We do not have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't put the value on the things that we were sold were valuable. They're not. They come and go like the wind. Money, houses, whatever.
Sure.
Whatever. That inner peace you can take and you can survive in any scenario. And they're all going to keep coming. And we don't know what they're going to look like. But if I'm secure, like, you know what, no matter what happens, I got this, then I have a much better footing.
Right.
I can stay. Because my center is grounded.
Got it. Okay.
And it is a lot of meditation, reflection, positive self-talk every morning. So I'm thinking about doing this. Let me tell me what you think.
Tell us more, because that's important. Self-reflection, meditation, journaling.
So I'm not a big journaler, but I have learned to love my notes. Like I'll just if I'm thinking, I'm like,
yep.
But is every morning in the bathroom, I dance and sing to myself in the mirror. It's usually Pink. Pink is my girl.
Yes.
But So I'm thinking about doing like 20-second little snippets in the morning. Being
I
like,
love
all
it.
right, ready to go. And just looking like a fool. What do I care? What do I care? You think I look like an idiot? So do I. Awesome. But that's what we embrace. It's I call it the I don't give an F.
Right.
And I love that. And it's not to say that, I think there's a very, very fine line between empathy and stupidity, and I can empathize with where you are. But again, that support really comes from within.
There you go.
And that's that self-reflection. That's that self-talk. That's the negative thoughts are still going on. That you're doing self-talk as we speak. So change it. Get in that place of gratitude. Get out of the filth bath.
I love
Brush
that.
yourself off. You may still have some specks in your hair. That's fine. We'll deal with that later. But it's the getting up right now. What do you want to do right now?
Right.
We can dive into the childhood trauma and all that good stuff. Yeah, we got it. We got it. But what do you want to do right now?
There you go. What are you going to do exactly right now? Exactly. Because our thoughts create our reality. And we speak
that
our
is
lives.
it.
Right.
Our perception is our reality. So we change that perception. We reframe.
Right.
Reframing is key.
Oh, yes. Rewiring of the brain.
And I say this all the time. I do ketamine, the ketamine therapy, and it has been a game changer as a trauma survivor. There's no doubt in my mind. I got sober. You remove that blanket, you remove that security, and Pandora's box opened up.
Right.
And so you're sitting there and these thoughts are still going on. And I've been in therapy my entire life, and done all sorts of things, and it just wasn't going away. And so I said to my husband, I said, if I had cancer, we would put whatever poison into my body to kill the cancer. This is the cancer of my brain, and I need to do something about it. And it has absolutely been a game changer. But the rewiring, so I look at the physicians at the hospital and I'll say, so if my heart, the artery to my heart was blocked, what would you do? You would reroute it.
Right.
Why do we think that's not possible with the brain? The brain scares them. The brain is what's in charge of this entire thing.
Sure, absolutely.
And if this is not doing well, forget about your diabetes, forget about your overweight, forget it. You're never going to get there.
Exactly.
You're never going to get there. I was 226 pounds. And I did not diet. I didn't go on whatever the medicine is or whatever. It took a good 3 years, but I am at a healthy weight that I feel comfortable with. I'm more active.
Good.
More peaceful, more it just, the whole thing changes.
Exactly.
We get out of our own way.
Right. There you go. We get out of our own way is correct. And you brought so many insights and so much value here. So let me ask you a question. How did you come to create Be a Butterfly? What inspired you to create Be a Butterfly? And when was that created? Because I know you're spontaneous. So
yes. So the Be a Butterfly, I don't know if you can see this. So that is tattooed on my arm. Every time, and it's also tattooed on my 18-year-old's arm, and it will be tattooed on the younger one when he turns 16.
Good.
Every time they walk out the door, I tell them to be a butterfly. That it is their job to evolve, to grow, to learn, to embrace, and be the most colorful, beautiful, soaring, flying, free that they can be.
Right.
That's what the butterfly means to me.
Okay.
Is that change, that ability to turn into something amazing.
There you go.
And this life isn't done yet. You and I, we can be alone for a long time.
We're just getting started. I mean,
correct. Correct. And I'm so thrilled. It's, and this is what women need to do. We need to support each other, support each other's businesses, support each other's dreams, stop competing against each other. That is the intention of society, of the male society.
There you go. They're very good at competing against each other, but women, we need to collaborate. I see more collaboration.
I do too.
Yeah, more collaborations. I mean, you and I met in the SPA mastermind, and right away, I see something. I said, Sarah,
yep. And that's the village. We need to accept the village.
Right.
We need to embrace and utilize the village. And, as a parent, it's the coaches, the teachers, let them do their jobs. It's what your children are not going to thrive over just you. They need all these other things, all these other people, all these other influences, because ultimately they will make their own determination of what type of person they would like to be.
Exactly. So I'm really glad that we connected. So be a butterfly. So right now, what is your mission and vision of your
my mission is to get women talking.
Okay.
That's it. My mission is to give a place that they feel they can say all of the horrible things that do go on and are constantly said in our minds. And we're like, oh, I could never say that out loud. That makes me a horrible person. No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
No.
It's your thought. I can guarantee you I've probably thought it as well. I've probably done 95% of the things that we're shameful of or, regretful. Done them. Laundry list. So you've got someone who is not going to judge you. I'm going to call you out on it.
Okay.
But there's no judgment.
Right. That's like myself. Same thing. We're not judging. This is a judgment-free zone.
Put it out there. Not much will surprise me. And sometimes that's a good and bad thing.
That's true. And how do people get in touch with you?
So they can send me an email. Very easy. Sarah, SARAH, @beabutterfly.net. I was originally really miffed that I got the .net because it was not .org or .com, but it actually flows really well and worked out better.
Well, I like it.
It works out better. Yep. So absolutely send me an email, visit my website and reach out. Just take that first step. And I am absolutely in tune with financial restraints and everybody is just struggling. So I am open to discussions. Let's figure out a package that works for you and your time, for you and your budget, to get away from this rigid, this is therapy, this is how it does. It's on Monday at 3:00 and but I want to do content. It's when you need it.
Right.
Tuesday at 10 a.m., Friday at 8 p.m., whatever. You're having a moment, because intervening in those little moments will stop the dumpster fire.
Exactly. I love that. You talk about that. Yes.
Oh, this was amazing.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Absolutely. I look forward to, collaborating with you more. And
me too. Same here.
I really enjoyed this, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're on the top of the hour, so we have a few minutes left. What is a special message? Yes. What is a special message that you would like to share with the audiences today who are tuning in and who will be watching the replay?
You're not alone. You are not alone. And if you're looking for someone who gets you, that's me.
Okay. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. This was such a pleasure. I am looking forward to amazing collaborations with you. Absolutely. And working together, because that's what it's all about, ladies.
Sharing, promoting, embracing.
Right. There's no room for jealousy.
There's nothing to be jealous of. For heaven's sake. Everybody's got a spot at the table. Knock it off.
That's right. You all have a spot here, and we are all family here.
Well, and think about that though. Like there's very specific things, I have not been divorced. I'm not going to be able to really talk to someone and, but I've got Angeline who specializes. And I know that, so it's just that reciprocation. That's what creates society. When we all bunker down and like, no, mine, you can't have it. Well, where's that going to go?
Exactly.
It's going to die.
Exactly.
Oh, I got you, babe.
All right. I got you too.
I'll see you in class.
We got each other's backs. All right.
Sure
So
do.
if you're inspired by this live episode, please drop a comment below. And this will be uploaded on my Spotify, Google, and Apple this afternoon. So we're live on YouTube right now. So, drop us a comment, drop us a like, please give us a rating, because, the more that we spread awareness, breaking the silence.
That's the key.
It's a global issue.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And we just need to band together. Women need women.
Right. Women need women. On that note, I wish you all an amazing day. Please stay in the green room, Sarah, for a few minutes.
You got it.
This live
Thank you.
Close, and you're welcome, Sarah. So have a beautiful day, everyone, and stay blessed, okay?
And be a butterfly.
Be a butterfly and break the silence, okay?
Bye.
Bye.